And it was two verses in particular that I wanted to read. The first one is Joshua 1:5 that says, "No one will be able to stand against you as long as you live, for I will be with you as I was with Moses. I will not fail you or abandon you." And the second one was Joshua 1:9, which says, "This is my command: be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid or discouraged, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go." And no joke, y'all, like I literally, when I was reading this, everyone inside this room was on my mind. And I was reading through it, right? And I went back over it because I realized something while in the midst of me reading it. He said, "This is my command, be strong and courageous." But if you get a chance or opportunity today, y'all, go and read Joshua 1. He repeats the same phrase, be strong and courageous, 6 times. Just in this one chapter, 6 times. Like, he went back, like, it's so funny because it's throughout the whole story, like, this one phrase, be strong and courageous, was just literally scattered through there, and then I realized why he was so repetitious with it, because he said, "This is my command, be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid or discouraged, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go." And that just like that sent chills down my spine when I was reading it. Because it's like God telling us that, like, listen, yeah, I have your back. I am your, don't go into nothing with a spirit of fear. He said, "I commanding you to be strong and be courageous." That's how you know that the spirit of fear ain't of God. Because he commands you, he tells you that be strong and be courageous. And when you go back and when you get an opportunity to read it, you will see where he repeats it 5 times just in this one chapter alone. Like he says, let's see if I could go back to it just because it's on my mind. Um, but in this particular story, in this particular chapter, it's basically how Joshua took over the mantle from Moses, and it's about him taking over a lot of land that God had promised them. And in this particular chapter was the story of Rahab, what some people might be familiar with, where they sent the spies into the city, and her family was spared, and she had basically given them the word that God had, like she basically had told them that they had nothing to fear about. And it was what the reason why I brought that part up about is because sometimes too, like God has given us signs that we have nothing to fear about because He know we can be afraid. Like God had already told Joshua that be strong and courageous. Like you have nothing to fear. But He's still gone and sent spies out there to see if how dangerous the path was. You know, and the lady Rahab, I told the spies, she was like, "Listen, everybody in here had already heard about how God, your God part the Red Sea." And, he's like, "Listen, everybody in here afraid of your God. Y'all have nothing to fear, you know? And I guess in that moment in time, it must have been, God sort of just reiterating to Joshua that, hey, listen, I told you there's nothing to fear, but since, you needed a hard copy, this is the proof here. And I think last night, and I just was up thinking, and I was like, how many times God probably has given me signs um, that I shouldn't worry about things, or like, or He sends somebody in advance morning, and a special prayer somebody say, or when a word aligns to something that I going through in my life, and it's I just had to just thank God, and just thank Him for the blessing, and thank Him for the reminder that I must always be strong and I must always be courageous. Yeah. And just thank Him for giving us these signs in advance, and just thank Him for being God. And I just, I, one here was actually honestly on my spirit when I read this particular verse. So I don't know if our word is or whoever it is going through something is to be strong and be courageous. Just remember that God commanded us when He can be by your side, and whatever it is you're going through, whatever decision it is you have to make, you come with a support system, and your support system is our Almighty God. I'm Gary, and I relinquish my mic.